see an opportunity to create millions of good-paying, middle-class union jobs. I see line workers laying thousands of miles of transmission lines for a clean, modern, resilient grid. I see workers capping hundreds of thousands of abandoned oil and gas wells that need to be cleaned up, and abandoned coal mines that need to be reclaimed, putting a stop to the methane leaks and protecting the health of our communities.
That was President Joe Biden earlier today talking to world leaders, touting his climate change agenda as one that would create jobs. But the interesting thing is, just this week, his own Secretary of State admitted that his administration's policies may do the opposite. Listen.
Not every American worker will win out in the near term. Some livelihoods and communities that relied on old industries will be hit hard. We won't leave those Americans behind.
Joining us now is Executive Director of Power the Future, Daniel Turner, and Steve Milloy, a former Trump EPA transition team member. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Steve, I'm going to start with you. You heard Tony Blinken there saying that Biden administration plan would hurt some industries, but they would also create a path to new industries. Is this realistic for people to change jobs, completely change industries in the next few years?
No, it's not. You know, the coal and oil and gas industry provide very high-paying jobs for people. They can live in this. They can make a career out of it in the same area. Once you build wind farms, though, or solar panels, you know, would workers have to move to lower-paying jobs elsewhere? It's just not practical. You know, the Obama administration killed 50,000 high-paying coal jobs. Joe Biden aims to finish the job by killing fracking jobs and other oil and gas jobs, and these jobs just can't be replaced. On his first day, Biden killed 11,000 pipeline jobs. The next sort of green jobs news event I heard was the largest wind manufacturer was killing 500 jobs in America. So these jobs don't exist. We went down this path before with the Obama administration and the first stimulus. It's all, it's a hoax.
Daniel, earlier John Kerry said, and I'm quoting him here, we still need to get carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. I mean, we know that Democrats want to tax carbon emitters, but does that mean I'm going to be taxed for breathing? What is John Kerry talking about?
Yeah, you know who really doesn't want carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere? Plants, right? This is the most unscientific conversation I have ever heard. They throw out these phrases like, we get rid of carbon dioxide, we need to be net zero. I wish some people who actually understood things like photosynthesis were engaged in this conversation. The numbers about the entire green movement are all full of lies, right? Green energy, if you want to call it that, is not necessarily green. It doesn't offset emissions, it just displaces them. So your electric vehicle doesn't have tailpipe emissions, but the power plant that charges your electric vehicle does, not to mention the rare earths that are mined to make your electric vehicle. So we're just displacing emissions. We use more coal to make solar panels because they are made from literally from heating quartz to make those solar panels. We use more coal to make solar panels than we do to make electricity. Why is that coal burning for solar panels a good emission, but burning coal to make electricity is a bad emission? So it's all just word salad, it's mumble jumble, and that's why the environmental left has to lie about their agenda, because otherwise no one would buy it.
You know, Steve, we saw what the market response was to Biden today announcing this plan. It plunged. So what is this going to do to the economy and as far as spending?
Well, to understand what it's going to do to the economy, I think you have to start with what John Kerry has now said 3 times in the last 24 hours, that even if we go to zero emissions tomorrow, it's not going to make a difference. We're still going to have a climate problem in his view. So these guys are okay with spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars and not accomplishing anything. You know, Joe Biden's commitment today to do 50% emission cuts by 2030, guess what? That's half the Green New Deal. That's half. The Green New Deal is 100% by 2030. Joe Biden's doing 52%.
We saw the way this. Yes.
Go ahead.
We're having a little trouble with the audio there, but we did see the reaction to people not exactly happy with Biden's half steps. We'll talk about that, Lindsay and I will, a little bit later, but it does involve something that doesn't smell very good. But I want to focus on President Trump and his decision to leave the Paris Climate Accord. Take a listen to this.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord, but we will start to negotiate, and we will see if we can make a deal that's fair. And if we can, that's great. And if we can't, that's fine. As president, I can put no other consideration before the well-being of American citizens.
Now, I do believe it was the UN that said, despite the lack of joining the Paris Climate Accords, the United States has actually exceeded the target goals for reducing pollution here. So, I mean, what does the United States gain by getting back in the Paris Climate Accords?
We gain an ally in the globalist cabal at the United Nations, I guess. We gain Joe Biden winning the praise of the European leaders, right? If we want to look towards a country or towards countries that have gone greener faster than America, we need to look at Europe. They pay 3 and 4 times what we pay for utilities. They have rationing of utilities in people's homes because they cannot afford to heat and cool their homes. We see wide-scale, very underreported deaths in heat waves and in extreme cold because people cannot afford these utilities. Let's be honest with the American people and say, we're going to adapt the Paris Climate Accord, but this is what it means to costs. This is what it means to livelihoods. And you know who's not adopting the Paris Climate Accords? China. They are building more coal plants. Why? Because coal works. They take their electric grids seriously. Russia is not adopting the Paris Climate Accord. These countries have a world to dominate, and they are not joking around with their electric grid and their economy. And I wish America took their commitment as seriously as Russia and China.
And both of them had a seat at the table today in Biden's meeting. Gentlemen, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.